Hello everyone, welcome to the course of electromagnetic fields and waves. In today's session, we are going to learn about electric flux density. Okay, so we know what is electric and we know what is density, but most of us don't know what is a flux. So let's see the meaning of flux. So this flux is nothing but flux. This flux is nothing but it's an action or process of flowing. Okay, so let's see what is the action or process, what is it flowing. Okay, now in 1837 a scientist named Faraday. Okay, so in 1837 a scientist named Faraday performed an experiment. Which was called as electric flux density. Okay, so what is this electric flux density? Let us see right now. Okay, so he considered two concentric spheres. I will tell you what are these concentric spheres. Okay, so let's consider two spheres. This is sphere 1 and this is sphere 2. Let us say, okay, whenever this is sphere 1 and this is sphere 2. Okay, whenever one sphere is placed inside the another sphere, then we can call it as concentric spheres. Okay, so he considered two spheres which is one inside the other, okay, which is considered as concentric spheres, and both the spheres have an dielectric medium in between. So dielectric medium means an insulation such that there won't be any passage of current or something else or charges. Okay, so let us consider this as a dielectric medium. So these two spheres have a dielectric medium in between. Okay, this is how a setup is made. Okay, so this is sphere 1 and this is sphere 2. Okay, so this is dielectric medium in between sphere 1 as well as sphere 2. Okay, so he considered two concentric spheres, okay, with dielectric medium. That means he provided insulation between the two spheres, okay, with dielectric medium between them. Okay, now what we have done is, this is, let us say, first point and second point. Now charge plus Q, okay, charge plus Q is given to the inner sphere. Okay, so this is an inner sphere. Okay, so a charge plus Q is given to the inner sphere. Okay, now after some time what we have observed is, he observed that charge plus q is uniformly distributed over the outer sphere. Okay, actually the charge was provided for the inner sphere, but after some time what he observed is the charge has been uniformly distributed to the outer sphere. So let's make the charge indication. So the charges have been uniformly distributed to the outer sphere, even though it has a dielectric medium. This is charge. Okay, now what we can say, the inner charge which was given to inner sphere has been moved to outer sphere. Okay, so this particular concept, as whenever a charge is given to the inner sphere, after some time this particular charge of an inner sphere is uniformly distributed to the outer sphere. This moving of charge from inner sphere to the outer sphere is considered as it is named as displacement flux, where displacement is nothing but it's a movement of towards the shortest place. Okay, we can consider it as a displacement. Okay, now this displacement flux is given by symbol psi, like this. Okay, so you can pronounce it as psi. Okay, so this particular displacement flux, okay, is given by this particular symbol psi. Okay, where this particular displacement flux is nothing but the charge which has been formed in the outer sphere. Okay, now as the charge is moved from the inner sphere to the outer sphere, what we have seen, as the charge is moved from the inner sphere to the outer sphere, okay, the outer moved charge is considered as displacement flux, and the displacement flux is considered given by psi, right? Okay, now can we say that the displacement flux psi is equal to charge present in the inner sphere, right? So the inner sphere charge is only distributed to the outer sphere, right? And the outer charge is considered as displacement flux psi, right? Now I can say that the outer sphere displacement flux charge psi is nothing but the charge present in the inner sphere. So we can say that the displacement flux psi is equal to the charge enclosed by the inner sphere. Okay, that means psi is equal to q. So inner sphere charge is equal to outer sphere charge, where outer sphere charge is considered as psi, displacement flux. Now he considered consider surface area of a sphere. So generally the surface area of a sphere will be somewhat like 4 pi r square, right? Okay. So if at all we consider the surface area of a sphere with respect to charge. So surface area of a sphere with respect to charge, if we consider, okay, with respect to charge means we can call it as charge q. Okay, if at all we are considering a surface area of sphere with respect to charge q, okay, we can consider it as displacement flux density or electric flux density. We can call it like this. So surface area of a sphere with respect to charge, we can call it as displacement flux density or electric flux density. So it is given by charge by area of the sphere, surface area of the sphere, 4 pi r square. Okay, so this is nothing but density, displacement flux density, and electric flux density is given by d. Okay, therefore we can write this as d is equal to q by 4 pi r square. This is the density with respect to the charge and surface area of the sphere. This is what we got. Okay. Now as the charge from the inner sphere is moving towards the outer sphere, how the direction and magnitude of this particular charge is, it is outerwards of this particular sphere. The charge is moving outside of the particular spheres, right? That means this particular charge is having direction as well as magnitude, right? So if at all any charge is having direction or magnitude, what we consider, that means it is having a vector quantity. Now we will be considering this same displacement flux density or electric flux density with respect to the vector quantity. Okay, so consider d equal to q by 4 pi r square as a vector quantity. Why? Because the charge is moving, okay, away from the charge is moving away from the spheres, right? Or you can also call it as outwards of the spheres. That is, the charge is having direction and magnitude. Okay, so we can consider this particular d equal to q by 4 pi r square in a vector quantity. So therefore D is equal to Q by 4 pi r square into r cap. This is how to represent D in vector form. Okay. Now let's consider electric field. Electric field is proportional to Q total charge by r square of distance between them. In the previous laws and all those things we have written Q1 Q2, right? With respect to Q1 Q2 I am taking only a single total charge, that is Q by r square. Okay. In order to equate this, if we remove this proportionality and equate this, what we can say, E is equal to K into Q by r square. We can write like this, right? But what is K? K is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Okay. Now substitute this K value in this E. E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by r square. Okay. This can be again written as Q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Okay. Therefore E is equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Okay. If we write this particular equation in a vector form, what we get? E is equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square into r cap. This is the electric field in vector form. Okay. Now let's consider this E and D, and let's consider this E. Okay. What is D? D is equal to Q by 4 pi r square into r cap, right? Okay. And what is E? E is equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square into r cap. Okay. If we compare this, compare D and E. Okay. If we compare these, what we get? D is equal to epsilon naught E. Okay. See how I will tell. Suppose, what is E here? E is equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square into r cap, right? Okay. Take this epsilon naught towards here. E into epsilon naught is equal to Q by 4 pi r square into r cap. Okay. So what is D here? D is also Q by 4 pi r square into r cap, right? So what we can write? E into epsilon naught is equal to D. We can write like this, right? So therefore if we compare D and E, it becomes D equal to epsilon naught E.